And we're back, folks. Welcome to another episode of Totally Debatable, the podcast where Jack and I try to solve the world's most pressing yet utterly trivial issues.
Solve might be a strong word, Lisa. We usually just end up proving we both have deeply entrenched, probably irrational opinions.
True, but today we're tackling a classic, a topic that has probably ended more potential romances than mismatched zodiac signs. We're talking about the first date bill. Who pays?
Oh boy. All right, I'm already feeling the heat. This is a minefield. Lisa, I'm going to start by saying, traditionally, and in my humble opinion, the person who asks for the date should offer to pay.
Traditionally, Jack? Are we living in 1952 with sock hops and drive-in movies? Because last I checked, women can vote and have jobs, and they often ask people out too.
Whoa, hold your horses. I didn't say only men ask. If a woman asks me out, I absolutely expect her to offer to pay. But if I initiate the date, I see it as part of setting the tone. Let me treat you. It's a gesture.
A gesture of what, exactly? That you're capable of earning money? I think most people assume that by the time you're on a date. To me, it feels less like a gesture and more like a test of my independence. Because if I don't at least offer to split, then what am I? A gold digger? A damsel in distress?
A damsel in distress? Lisa, that's a bit dramatic. It's a common courtesy. If I invite someone to my home for dinner, I don't send them an invoice for the ingredients.
That's a terrible analogy. That's your home. This is a public restaurant, a mutual agreement to share an experience. And speaking of common courtesy, what about the courtesy of acknowledging that I'm an adult perfectly capable of contributing? I don't want to feel like I'm being treated like a child.
Okay, I get that. I do. But what's wrong with wanting to spoil someone a little, to show them a good time without them worrying about the cost? It takes the pressure off.
It adds different pressure. The pressure of, do I owe them something now? Or the awkward dance of, oh, you don't have to. No, I insist. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. It's like a terrible scene from a bad rom-com. I'd rather just slide my card over, split it, and know we're on equal footing.
So you're telling me if I took you to a super fancy Michelin-star restaurant and the bill came to $300, you'd insist on paying $150 on a first date?
Okay, that's a specific scenario. If it was that expensive and I knew going in, I'd probably have offered to choose a different place or explicitly said, hey, let's go Dutch on this fancy spot. But if you sprung it on me, yeah, I'd still offer. It feels wrong not to.
See? But that's my point. Why would I want you to feel wrong or pressured on a first date? I want you to relax and enjoy the company. The bill is the last thing I want you to think about.
But it's always on my mind. If I know you're planning to pay, then I'm subtly calculating everything I order. Can I get the fancy cocktail, or should I stick to water so I don't feel too guilty? If we're splitting, I order exactly what I want because it's my money too. Freedom, Jack. That's what I'm looking for.
So what's your ideal scenario then? The bill comes and you instantly snatch it and say, 50-50, buddy. No polite back and forth, no pretending to reach for your purse.
Okay, maybe a little pretending. I'm not a monster. But honestly, I appreciate when a guy just says, let's split it. Or better yet, I'll get this one, you get the next, if there's a good vibe. That tells me they're thinking long term, not just about this one transaction.
You get the next. See, I love that. That's a great compromise. It shows intent, doesn't put pressure on the first date, and still keeps things fair. Why didn't you lead with that, Lisa? You buried the lead.
Because you were so busy defending your archaic, I must pay all the monies stance. But seriously, if a guy says, I've got this one and I offer to split, and he politely says, no, really, I'd like to get it, then fine, I'll say thank you and make a mental note to get the next coffee, drinks, or literally anything else. But the expectation should be a split.
The expectation should be that the inviter pays and the invitee offers to split. It's about manners, the dance, the ritual.
The ritual that leads to so much awkwardness. I mean, what if the date is terrible? What if he's actively boring me and then I have to sit there while he grandly pays for my mediocre pasta? I'd rather just pay for my own mediocre pasta and make a swift exit.
Oh, you just described the nightmare scenario, the worst first date. And in that situation, yes, I'd probably just want to pay and get out of there too. But for a good date, a date with chemistry, I want to take care of the bill and just focus on the conversation.
I think it comes down to control. When you pay, you feel like you're controlling the situation. When I pay my half, I feel like I'm controlling my own autonomy.
So if we had a coin flip at the start of the date, heads Jack pays, tails Lisa pays, would you be okay with that?
Maybe, as long as it's clearly established up front, no surprises. I think the biggest issue is the ambiguity. Everyone has their own rule book in their head.
Exactly. And what about the opposite scenario? What if the woman insists on paying everything and the guy gets offended? Is that still empowering or is it emasculating?
Oh, that's a whole other can of worms. I think if a man gets emasculated by a woman offering to pay her share or even wanting to treat him, that's a red flag right there. It screams insecurity.
So the "I'll get it" gesture is only good if it comes from the man, but bad if it's from the woman? That sounds a little biased, Lisa.
No, it's not biased. It's about context. For centuries, men were expected to pay, and it was tied to their perceived value as providers. Now, women are pushing back against that expectation. If a woman wants to pay, she's often doing it to demonstrate equality, not to prove she's a provider. It's a subtle but important difference in motivation.
So if a guy offers to pay, it's tradition. If a woman offers to pay, it's empowerment. I'm seeing a double standard here, my friend.
You're missing the nuance. But okay, let's agree on this. The safest bet on a first date for maximum comfort and minimal awkwardness is for both parties to offer to split. And then, if one person strongly insists on treating, the other graciously accepts and offers to get the next round. How's that for a compromise?
I can live with that, as long as I still get to do the "I'll offer to pay" dance first. It's ingrained, Lisa, it's ingrained.
And that, listeners, is the sound of progress. We didn't fully agree, but we found a common ground, much like you might on a good first date. Until next time, don't let the bill ruin your vibe.
Or at least make sure you have small bills for the dramatic reaching for the wallet moment.
All right, that's a wrap. Great episode, Jack. I'm starving. You want to go grab some tacos across the street?
Oh, absolutely. But wait, since I technically invited you to do this podcast today, does that mean I'm legally obligated to pay for your carnitas?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Tradition, Jack. You said it yourself.
Hey, what happened to independence and modern womanhood?
My independence is currently on its lunch break. Besides, I left my wallet in the car, which is actually at my house, in a different purse.
You are a professional, Lisa, truly. Fine, I'll pay, but I'm ordering the extra guacamole and you are not allowed to touch it.
We'll see about that. I'm very empowered when it comes to stealing other people's chips.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this episode. Thanks for joining us.
This was fun. We will be back with another episode soon. Till then, take care.
Bye, everyone.